Okay, right now we're going to go over how to use the data form in My Tuition Score. So we're going to log in, and what the data form is basically a shortcut for using My Tuition Score. So when you get to your dashboard and you log in, you'll click data form. And this is typically going to be done with a client sitting in your office or over the phone or on a virtual meeting, instead of having them set up their own account if they haven't yet, or register with an email and get a password. This is a shortcut. It's also a way that you're going to be able to save each one of these as its own form. So I'm just going to go through real quick and use some dummy information, and you can enter any email, even a fake one if you needed to, on there. It's helpful to use a VIP code. If you don't have one, set one up, and that's the next video. We can look at how to do a VIP code, but it's extremely important. You can get all of the benefits of the report with the VIP code, so you want to make sure you have the right version of the report. And all of these questions are important, but obviously some are more important than others. So what I would say is you want to go through each one. It's a great way to build rapport and have a lot of good talking points with the client, while you're having this conversation. Obviously, things like what school they're going to are going to be very important. So we're going to pick Ohio State as a choice. Oh, I guess I didn't. You got to click on it. So Ohio State, and we're going to pick Cornell. Cornell University is the Ivy League. Cornell College is the one in Iowa. And speaking of Iowa, let's pick Iowa State just for the fun of it. Okay, so as you move through this, obviously the more times you do it, the more comfortable you'll get, but they're very just simple, easy questions, nothing tricky for the family that you're talking to. And it's, again, all the same questions they would be answering in My Tuition Score. But how many families live in the household? They might surprise you and tell you, or how many family members in the household. They might have Aunt Susie living with them, and it's important for you to know that so that you can assess whether or not Susie's contributing to the bills, whether there's some out of the ordinary expenses. All of these questions are important. The ACT score is going to help you understand whether or not they could get some merit money. Grade point average, we'll just put in whatever. And again, importantly, this is, you can save a unique form for each family. So you're going to be able to go back in and see this. This is the student asset section. You're going to be able to go back in and have a one-sheet summary of each family when you're done. Right here, asking the questions on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you know about the loan process? How sure are you about Bob's major that he picked, which in this case is biology? How knowledgeable are you about schools that are the right fit for Bob? How knowledgeable are you about financial aid options, about the best ways to do financial aid paperwork, the admissions process, grants and scholarships? Most families are going to answer 3 or below. And all that's doing is leading toward the fact that they need your help and that they're not really sure what the process is and how to best go about it. No, we don't have a 529. We'll say we're doing $100 a month, 100,000 adjusted gross income. Obviously, these are the pertinent numbers, the things that you're going to really need to know in order to get the EFC. How much of the money that you have in savings is earmarked for college? Well, the lower that number is, the bigger the gap is going to be as far as how much they're going to actually need for college. And I'm just using some of the numbers I've pre-populated this with earlier just to get through it more quickly. But anything they don't know, you could always make it up, I guess. Obviously, which questions are more important. So things like utilities each month, cable, how much are they paying for that? That's not that important. Those are, again, talking points. But why they are important is that as you go through them, you can make jokes or build rapport as you're asking the questions. The other thing I want to point out again is if you use this as your sample that you go back to, like for instance, this one here is my Darren Rose sample that I'm creating. You won't have to answer these questions every time. You could just go back in, and if you're not changing how much the cable bill is or how much the loan bill is or how much their average monthly credit cards are, if you're not going to change these numbers, you could just leave them the same. That's not going to change anything in the final calculation. And when you're done, you click Generate Tuition Score. It's going to take a minute because right now it's sucking all the information from this data form, and it's going to send it directly to my tuition score. So up here, the thing is starting to spin now. It's sending it over to my tuition score. The algorithm is calculating, and then what's going to happen is it's going to generate an actual my tuition score report. It's the same one that the user would have received had they typed all this stuff in themselves. So you have the real report. You can go right to the things you want to go to. So we're talking about Ohio State. Here's what it's going to cost for 4 years. What is this family's EFC? Here it is, $66.88, because they have 2 kids in college. So this is going to give you all the same breakdowns. If you're familiar with the FAA report, it's the same kind of breakdowns. If not, bottom line is it's a quick and easy tool to understand their specific situation, figure out the generosity score of each school, the merit-based likelihood of their scores, extra pretty pictures and things like that. You've seen the report. My point here is just to show you this is a quick way for you to get a quick report, meaning you go back to the dashboard and user, so we just did a data form. If you click user data, here is the one I just pulled. Darren Rose, the EFC was 6688. The EFCI, which is institutional or profile, that method would have the EFC be significantly higher, and the potential EFC, the EFCP, is 6288. So that's what the dashboard's telling you here. But the point is, this very report is right here. So I can access it for that family, email it to them. I can print it out right here for them if they want. But for me, as an advisor, if I was the advisor, I can view a quick one-pager right here. This summarizes their whole situation for me. So it's not a my tuition score report, but I've got all the financials and all the information I need. And if I want to edit that, all I have to do is click on it, and I can go in here and figure out what I want to edit. So if I want to go here to page 3, where I'm going to change something like how many family members are in the household, because now I have a new client that I'm talking to, and rather than go through every single question again, I'm only going to change the things that matter. So this family only has 4 members of their family. This family, the parents are married. There are, let's go, the things you need to change, but let's go here, for example, to how much money's in their student's name. This family has $12,000 in the student's name, so we're going to change that. Bob made, this family's kid made $2,000 last year, and he paid $400 in taxes. You can go back in and change this very quickly on the fly if you don't want to go through a whole my tuition score conversation with the family. Get a quick and dirty EFC and the schools, and of course, when you're done, you'll just click generate report, and it's going to regenerate the whole thing and update it for you. So it's a very easy way for you to have easy access to all of that family's information, save each one unique. Each one can be saved as a unique report or a unique data form, like they are here on my dashboard. I happen to use the same name and email for all of them, so it's not as apparent. But you can save thousands of these if you want to. But again, I would earmark one, like this top one here for me is the one I'm always going to come into if I'm just trying to get a very quick EFC and school report and figure out some simple information for a family. I'm just going to go to my go-to one. I'm going to edit it, boom, and it's all going to be done. We're going to go through and make sure you understand in the next video how to do VIP codes, but that is it for right now on this one.